Hello everybody. In this video I want to show you quotation software that I made with Excel. This is a project from several years ago. I think hopefully I'll be making about 4 of these videos to show the 4 main projects I've done with Excel. This is the first one when I worked at a company called JMI for several years. Had a really good time there. But when I got there, we were making proposals primarily by editing Word documents, and so this was a project to automate the proposals that the company put out. Well, first thing we'll do is put it in full screen. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is select a customer. The data that we're using, customers, pricing, individuals listed below, are all made up, but the JMI information is legit. Okay, so if we look for Miss Widget Company, we've got 3 customers in that category to choose from. Okay, and we're going to update the sales territory manager based on who works with them. So then we come down below, and well, okay, Ryan usually does quotes for Sue. Okay, so we've got that filled in. We're going to choose who the order's made out to. Sometimes it's made out to JMI, sometimes it's made out to vendors that they work with. Okay, maybe we're going to highlight it because sometimes it's not made out to the right person, so that's a reminder. Okay, now we're going to add a configurable item. So we can do that by clicking on description. We can also do that with Control-Shift-I. Okay, there you go, Control-Shift-I, add a configurable item. We're going to choose a manufacturer. Okay, we're going to choose the one we want and configure and return. Okay, this right here is the heart of this software, the most important thing about it. When I first started working at GMI, we were developing proposals by editing Word documents, and that could lead to mistakes sometimes because a lot of the configurable items that are quoted can be 30 characters long, and every single character tells you something about the instrumentation or about the product being sold. Okay, this is relatively shorter, but we need to make sure that that model code matches with the description and matches with the price. Remember, these prices, I made everything $1 to not be sharing that kind of stuff in a video. If a customer doesn't know the product numbering, which is common, but they do know the description, they're going to be choosing based off the description. When we send an order into the factory, they're going to be processing it based on the model number. And of course, we want to quote at the correct price. Okay, so we can change our wattage, okay, change our voltage, change the kind of jacketing. Okay, down here, based on a conversation with the customer, maybe we want to make sure that they know this information and this information. Okay, and we want to make sure that these items also appear in the quote. Okay, and hit submit, and we're going to include a specs link, and we're going to attach the price. Okay, so we'll hit OK. Alright, so now we have our model number, a description that is generated from that model number. We've got a price, we've got a picture of the item, and the quantity. Okay, now we're going to come and fill in the quote info. Okay, so let's say this is the second quote of the day we've worked on, and we're going to not do this manually, but we're going to have it generate it. So this tells us information about when it happened and who quoted it. The quote reference we're going to pull from line 2. You see that's this information right here. Okay, let's say it's 1 week after receipt of order. Okay, we're going to skip these internal codes for now. And on most of these forms that you work with, you can set as default so that it comes back just like that for the setup you use most often. Okay, now we've got quote body warnings. We're going to see those in a minute. But based on what you choose, it can remind you to take certain actions or not do certain things. Okay, here in this section, conditions of quotation and sale. Okay, so we can change this around. Okay, and so these are reminders to the customer. Okay, click here for help. So we're going to make sure we show everything that we can do. We selected a customer, we did the quote number, reference and terms, the manufacturer, conditions of quotation and sale. Okay, number of pages and totaling. This is just where we could change this to say as ordered. Let's say we don't have a quantity. Okay, but typically people want to see total. Okay, Control Shift M gets us back here. Okay, we did a configured item or a part. Well, we did an item, so let's do a part. So Control Shift I. Now we're going to do a part. So these are items that are not configurable, but it's just the part number as is. Okay, again, for Flexa made everything $1. These are not actual prices. Okay, order 15 of those, and there we go. Okay, what else can we do? Okay, adding a generic item. This is if you're reselling an item, but it just allows you to type in the information and get the same format that you see over here. You can add a web link, you can format something you typed, have similar bullets, or no, you can change the format of the bullets. Okay, so change the spacing and what it looks like. Okay. Okay, this is just wrapping text, but Control Shift D will do that for you. Okay, if we wanted to start a new quote, Control Shift X would wipe everything out, start you new. Okay, extend price calculation, E and T. So if we change this number here, click on the price, hit Control Shift E, it'll reprice it. Or if we change both of the amounts, okay, and hit Control Shift T, then it's going to update both the amounts. Okay, number the line items, that's the last step that people quoting are reminded to do before they're done. So if you just hit Control Shift N, then it goes ahead and numbers the items. That you might renumber things a few times as you're adding items, or what often happens is you're almost done with the quote, but then the territory manager or customer asks for a change, and so then there's a revision. Okay, so then, okay, we get our warnings again. Okay. All right. Okay, our swap rows up and down. Okay, so let's say we wanted to make this prominent, includes carrying case and tubing. Control Shift R, we're going to swap it up to the top. Add some highlighting. Okay, so now that sticks out more. Control Shift M again. What else is here? Okay, we already toggled the views. Okay, the text importer and the contact importer, Control Shift W, Control Shift Z, were a couple attempts at bringing in info. Okay, so let's go to a new page, Control Shift W. If we got a quote from someone else, set up a little form where with certain vendors that we purchase from, it'd be pretty easy to copy and paste the info in, and it'd process it and again give it the same format of the rest of the quote. And what was the other item? Well, the contact importer. Let's see, what was contact? Okay, contact Z. Okay, and so then as different outside sales, people were migrating at different speeds from ACK contact databases and other contact databases. One at a time, we could just copy and paste somebody's info in, and it would try to make matches, and then you choose it, and then you could bring it into the database. So we had that feature. Okay, same thing for a fax cover. This is Control Shift F, based on the current person being quoted to and the inside salesperson. Then we'd write a note. Okay. Okay, what else is there? Okay, item price calculator. Okay. When you're selling from cost at a markup, It matters whether you're, let's say, dividing by 90%, which gives you $111, or multiplying by 110%, which gives you $110. Okay, that's only $1 different. Let's say you're dividing by 60%, it gives you 167, or multiplying by 40%. Okay, so now that's a pretty significant difference. Okay, so this is a tool to help inside salespeople when they're preparing quotes to be on the same page with the territory manager, the outside sales manager, and make sure you are using the same language to talk about what the markup will be. Okay, printing and storing and retrieving. So one of the last steps was to create a PDF. So convert the quote that's been done into PDF to email to the customer. Here you can set your default PDF maker. And the way this Excel project worked is this Excel file, EQ, actually never changed. It's never saved, it's never updated except by me as a programmer. But when each quote is done, you store it and retrieve it. And so we can store this quote, skip spelling, and we can, okay, here's our warnings again. We're going to look at those in a moment. Okay. And so we store this. You see here's another example, and these are just separate Excel files that store all the data. Okay, so we'll save that. Now then we can also bring in a quote, and maybe we want to bring in the exact same quote to revise it, or maybe we want to bring in a quote but only change a certain part. And so we could pull in all the information except maybe the actual description. But in this case, we'll pull in everything. We'll pull up this other quote we have here. Okay. Same warnings. Okay, here we are, set up pop-up warnings. Okay, so what this does is it allows you to, okay, if you find in the quote body the letters EJX, then you say, did you quote manifolds with a pressure transmitter? Okay, and there's space for up to 50 of these, and it looks like we were using around 20 or so. And just the idea would be to remind people if you're quoting a certain product, offer, service, or to make sure that we comply with the customer's request on something related to the proposal. All right, that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I'd be happy to interact with you on this Excel project or on anything else related to Excel.